Welcome to this week's Scotsman Rugby Show. It's packed with more club rugby after a great weekend for try scorers. We also hear from Gregor Townsend on a difficult start to life as Glasgow Warriors head coach. Referee Andrew McMenemy also takes us through some of the new law changes this season. And Peter Dods steps into the Legends spotlight and answers 5 quick questions on his Scotland career. But first, let's kick off with Gala versus Ayr.
Gala had won the last 2 games between the two teams, including a 40-29 win at Millbrae and, of course, in the Scottish Cup final. But it took just 2 minutes for Nick Cox to get on the scoreboard with this try. Ayr getting off to the perfect start. Cox a huge asset to the league leaders, deceptively fast as well for a prop, and Peter Juricevic, one of 6 signed from Glasgow Hawks this season, adding the extras for a 7-0 lead. But Gala's Lee Miller kicked 2 penalties to reduce the deficit and then had this one to put the Maroons in front. And on 27 minutes, Gala got their first try. A kick ahead by Craig Robertson, gathered by Grant Anderson, but Robertson following up and charging the ball down to run in for the score. So 14-7 to Gala, but within 3 minutes the scores were level. Scott Sutherland bulldozing over the line for Ayer's second try of the match. Juricevic again converting. And with 5 minutes to the break, Andy Dunlop wrestled the ball away from Gala, gave it to his number 8 Callum Forrester. He found prop George Hunter, who somehow found a way through the Gala defence. Forrester up in support, and the Ayr forwards showing their backs just how to run in a try from inside their own half. A well-executed piece of play, and Juricevic's conversion gave Ayr a 21-14 lead at half-time. And that's the way it stayed for nearly half an hour before Gala conjured up this try. Robertson coming into the line, Lee Miller taking the pass, dummying Kerr Gosman and going over for a try. Coach George Graham has labelled Miller as the outstanding fly half in Scottish club rugby, and with play like that, it's hard to argue against him. This conversion would have tied the scores, but it glanced off the right post. Then 5 minutes later, he had a chance to put Gala back in front with another penalty kick. Off the same post, and the chance was gone, and Ayr took full advantage, running the ball out of defence. That man again, Nick Cox, showing a good turn of speed, putting his team into the Gala half. And while up there, they had this chance to get a bonus point for a 4th try. Nick Cox driving on, Juricevic, Dunlop and Hunter involved, and then Robbie Ferguson bursting through to dive over the line. It looked a certain try, but James King, Edinburgh pro and former Melrose player, put in an incredible try-saving tackle to stop Ferguson from grounding the ball, and the referee right on the spot to make the correct decision. But a minute from the end, Juricevic kicked a penalty to secure the match for Ayr, and they remain the only unbeaten team in the Premiership after 3 rounds.
Oh, delighted. 3 out of 3. We'd have took a no point, a 4-point victory. We're obviously disappointed not to get 5 because we think we could have done, but yeah, happy.
What was the key to holding on and to staying ahead of Gala?
Well, team spirit, work rate. I think we didn't make a lot of changes in that game, so our fitness, we've worked really hard over pre-season, a new regime, a new fitness coach. I think that's paying off because a lot of our, I think all but one of our pack played 80 minutes.
Speechless, really. The amount of times we got in there, deep in their half, and a silly little turnover. We were chasing our shadows back there up to the halfway line at least, and you just can't do that against a really good team. All credit to Ayr, they shut us out.
The Premiership's 5 games produced 39 tries, with 10 coming at the Green Yards, where Heriots fought back to beat Melrose, and another 10, including these tries, in the high-scoring game between Currie and Aberdeen, which saw the Edinburgh side overturn a 19-point deficit to win the game 39-37.
The players obviously are hurting. It's really hard to take a last kick game loss in such a high scoring game. But hey ho, we took 2 points, and I'm pleased. We're going the right way.
Defended dreadfully, but then we really turned it around, completely dominated the second half, and it's a real credit to the strength of character of the players to come back and win like that.
In the other games, there were wins for Stirling County at home to Edinburgh Accies, and Dundee bounced back to winning ways with 4 tries in the second half at Mayfield, including this cheeky score from scrum half Andy Dimmock. In the National League, Glasgow Hawks had too much power for Kelso with a third straight win, but Hillhead Jordan Hill stumbled away to Hawick. Jed Forest righted their ship with victory over Biggar, while Selkirk and Watsonians edged narrow wins. It was a mixed bag for Scottish teams in the second week of RaboDirect Pro 12 action. Edinburgh grabbed a late win in Cardiff thanks to a Greg Laidlaw drop goal, but Glasgow left it too late against the Scarlets in their first match at Scotstoun. Not the start that head coach Gregor Townsend wanted.
We know we could have won both games, especially our home game against the Scarlets, and it's up to us to make sure we make those adjustments and get the wins. We're an ambitious club. I believe that the players we've got here, we can be at the top end of the table by the end of the season, and our goal is to become one of the leading teams in Europe. And yes, there'll be defeats along the way, but as long as we keep improving, the wins will come, and it's up to us to make sure they do.
The IRB is trialling a number of law changes this season in the game. We've got the help this week of Scottish referee Andrew McMenemy and some of the students from Borders College to take us through some of the more pertinent changes.
Basically, it's just about creating options for the attacking team and also trying to quicken up play a little bit more. Certainly the 5-second rule or the law at the back of the ruck is going to try and quicken up the game. We're going to have a lot less time spent at slow breakdowns, and it's encouraging the ball to be played a lot more. The current law as it stands at the moment was obviously crouch, touch, pause, engage. Now what they've done is they've cut it down to crouch, touch, set. Basically taking away the pause element of it and replacing the word engage with set. It's basically trying to hold the two packs of forwards for a less amount of time. The problem was it was being held for a bit too long, it was thought, so this is just a way of quickening it up a little bit. The 5-second law ruling at the ruck now is being introduced to quicken up the ball. On the first example, we'll see that the ball is not used within the 5 seconds of the referee calling use it. It is then given a turnover and it is a scrum to the opposition on the next phase of play. And here on the second example, you'll see the 5-second law being used correctly. The referee calls use it and the ball is then used within that 5-second gap. On this first example, you'll see the ball carrier's tackled and he loses the ball. He knocks it on, the ball goes into touch. What we're now allowing is giving the non-offending team the option of taking a line out from where the ball crossed the plane of touch, or they can also take a quick throw-in from that point as well. They can obviously still come back for the scrum from the original knock-on as well if they so wish. In this example, this shows the new option that you have from a line-out infringement. This is both from a free kick and a penalty incident. In the first example, we will see a penalty offence. The player is penalised. The team are then given the option of taking a line-out in line with where the offence took place. They are also allowed to take the penalty 15 metres in as per normal as well. On the second example, we see it's a free kick offence. Again, the same option is offered. The non-offending team are allowed to take the option of a line out, again in line with where the offence took place, or they can take the free kick from 15 metres infield. The current law as it stands, if the ball is kicked directly from touch from outside the 22-yard line, you are allowed to take a quick throw-in from the point at which the ball crossed the line of touch and anywhere backwards towards your own try line. Now the person who retrieves the ball can run forward back up the field of play to the point at which the line out would be taken from, and he can take a quick throw in from any point along that line.
And now it's legend time. In the Scotsman hot seat this week we have Peter Dods, who earned 23 caps for Scotland and enjoyed a Grand Slam.
Memories of the first cap was being at Murrayfield on the Sunday, just at a normal squad training session. I wasn't selected in the original team. Andy Irvine was in the original team. Ian McGregor, the then chairman of selectors, came over to me and said, "Congratulations, you're in the team for Saturday," and I was really thrilled about that. I think in these days, when it came down to the Gala games, I think it was Arthur Brown in these days. He may not like me for saying that, but I thought he was then a wonderful player, and I think he really inspired me that I wanted to, emulate him and play fullback. favourite game was 1984 Grand Slam. We'd beaten all the other countries then, and going into the game against France was going to be really difficult. It was a very windy day again, but that day had special memories for me. You know, kicked a few points, especially in the second half. We won eye shut and things after getting a knee in the face of Serge Blanco. But you know, it's a game that, you know, even when you're at your work, it comes over you once or twice a day, and you relive things that happened in that game. So it was a very special moment. Toughest opponent, I think, was Serge Blanco. He played in the Grand Slam team for France on many occasions, and he played that day in '84 as well. I think there still is only one as long as I live, and it's Jim Rennick. It's great memories of Jim, even watching him, but playing with him in the Old South team was a real pleasure. You know, he made openings for you and helped me score many tries, but he was a wonderful player.
Looking ahead to the weekend now, will the 10 Premiership clubs manage to surpass their record of 39 tries? Heriots host Dundee in an appetising clash at Goldenacre. Leaders Ayr welcome Stirling to Millbrae, and Aberdeen, Edinburgh Accies and Boroughmuir seek victories on their home patch. In the National League, leaders Hawks are away to winless Hamilton, Hillhead hosts Selkirk, Poynter Park prepares for a border battle between Kelso and Jed, and Watsonians and Biggar are also at home. That's it for this week. But remember to get in touch with us at the address below if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see in the show. Enjoy this weekend's rugby.